Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome back. Our guest today is E.B. Tucker, the editor of the Tucker Letter, and his book is out now. It is called Not for Sale: How to Thrive and Survive in a World That Wants to Control You. Welcome back, E.B.
Thanks for having me. It's exciting to be here today.
Yeah, really excited to have you on. Since you were last on, what a incredible developments we've had in precious metals, silver and gold at the levels we are right now. What's happening, EB, in this past year in precious metals? Why all the increases?
I think the story in the future will be that the mechanism for holding prices of commodities down came under a lot of pressure. That's going to sound conspiratorial, but it's not conspiratorial. If you go back and watch the Adam Curtis documentary Hypernormalization or Century of the Self, there's a little comment to where in the 80s there was some kind of reprisal with the Arab states with respect to pinning the oil price in certain places. There's a comment that they make in that documentary that's absolutely fascinating to me because what it shows you is that the physical market for the commodity does not set the price. Of course, sometimes it does, but the reality with gold is for years and years and years in the Tucker letter, we talked about how you would see half a year of supply turn over in the futures market in a day. So we explained, how do you trade futures? It's very easy. If you were to give me a few $1 billion in a line of credit, I could sit there all day long and run the price up and blow out stops and run it down and do whatever I want. But the problem is that this doesn't seem to work anymore. And so what it means is that the price of the metals is coming back to where, it's arguably supposed to be. But let's be clear on a few things. I've got 2,000 ounces of silver next to me. I'm
Nice.
surprised you didn't notice. But the thing is that the price of silver probably goes through 50, then it comes back and touches 50 again. I mean, usually these things go back to the scene of the crime. So they kind of like run past and they go back, that's what happens in a lot of parts of life. But then it, moves on up. And what should the price be? I mean, I don't know. What you tell me. I mean, it's a lot of silver is byproduct mining. There's a lot of complexity here. Now, if you're a silver person, I mean, I don't really particularly like silver. I know that's going to be crazy because I've got more than my body weight of silver next to me. But you can own something and not really like it that much. And I think that if you're watching this, if you're like a silver bull, if you're like one of these people that's like, the world's going to collapse and I'm going to use silver, I think now's the time to kind of like evolve your thinking a little bit. Why do you like silver so much? I mean, the reality is that like if you have a lot of money, you buy gold. And the reason you do it is because you can't, like, this much silver is like a Kit Kat bar worth of gold. And so
Right.
you run into like a storage problem. The second thing is that, it's the poor man's money, whatever. It's not anyone's money anymore. Okay. And the fact is with gold is that you're probably not going to have an easy time owning gold at some point. Like this is the time to philosophically like get real with yourself. Gold is not for people like us. It's for countries. It's for like excessively wealthy people. It's not really for us. That's coming from the guy that literally wrote the book about gold. Okay, so like it's a great thing for us to own while we can. It's this thing where we're entering a new phase of life that's going to be hyper digitalization.
Right.
You're going to basically go into a digital prison, and this is what's coming now. What's coming and what's happening now are two different things. This might be the best year of your life. It's 2025. You can go out to dinner and still use cash. You can leave your phone at home and drive somewhere and not be tracked as long as your car is not, digitally connected. Not that you really care about being tracked, but what I'm saying to you is you got a silver rally going on right now. So sometimes you can get involved in something that's moving and enjoy that move, and you can make some money and you can pay some tax. What they want you to do in the US at least is to buy stuff, sell it higher, make a profit, pay tax.
Right.
Indulge them. Indulge them. It's like they're asking you to do this to stimulate the whole thing. Just do it. Like what I'm trying to get back to is that the silver bug community, which I'm close with, so I'm going to get some nasty emails, sometimes misses the point. I mean, if silver goes from 50 to 100, it's a double. I mean, Trilogy Metals, got an investment from the U.S. government and is up, 300%. So like that's, 3 decades of silver ownership all wrapped up into 1 hour. Okay. So my point is that it's great to own some silver. It's great to have a rally in this thing. It's great to book a profit and to do something that makes your life better, and to free your mind up from this idea that you're going to be using silver to buy bread, which you really shouldn't be eating bread anyway. Let's be honest. You're not
Right.
a lumberjack. You don't need to be eating that anyway. So try to use this as an opportunity to figure out what a bull market looks like, how to make money from it, and how to keep your eyes wide open instead of like this.
Right.
So I really hope this makes sense to people, because believe me, I know what I'm talking about. I've been around for a while, and I've been quite successful. And it dawns on me that people don't really understand why. But if you read Not for Sale, you'll understand why. I mean, you'll understand how all this happened. I'm not as young as I look. I mean, I've been really working on my mindset for a long time, since before it was cool.
Hello, my fellow silver and gold stackers. Please hit the like and subscribe button. It will really help the silver and gold community grow. It'll help this channel grow, and I'd really appreciate it. Back to the video. Absolutely. No, it's tremendous advice and guidance that you just gave us, EB, because for sure a lot of times in the silver bug community, we're holding this physical silver for the end game to buy whatever it is, like what you said, bread or buy land. But at the same time, you have to evolve your thinking, which is really great advice. What are your thoughts on like central banks buying silver? Like Saudi Arabia came out recently and they're buying silver. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, let's talk about when they say they're buying gold, which might be easier, because everybody's talking about silver. It's kind of a new thing to say, are they buying silver? But let's talk about the gold. It's really the same argument. And
Right.
when people tell me gold's going up because central banks are buying, and I'm saying, have you seen it? Well, no, I read it on the internet. Okay, well, I mean, then we know it's true if you read it on the internet, right? So I've been to the New York Fed, to the vault, which not many people have been to.
Okay.
Um, and I've seen the gold there. Now, I don't know whose gold it was, because it says like on a piece of paper, like on a printed out like with like a label maker, like it says the country's. So I don't, but I know they move it around to settle trade balances and stuff. But what I'm trying to say is that that's probably closer than anybody watching has been to a central bank vault, and that's just one central bank vault. So my point
Right.
is, we don't really know who's buying what, and I think most of the buying, in the silver buying as well, happens in the futures market, because people close, to conversations that I've had about remember when everybody bought physical silver in like February 2021? I mean, that almost destroyed the physical silver market. I really want people to hear that, like you're not going to read that on the internet. And if you know people that like work in London in the physical market, like you guys almost broke that market. Almost. I mean, like literally, if like another 10 of you had been out there buying, it would happen. Now, the reason why it would have happened is because nobody really wants to own silver. Nobody really wants to own it. You got to hear that. And the reason is because banks cannot stand to have something on their balance sheet that's dormant. And so
Right.
what they do is they buy all this silver, like, hundreds of thousands of pounds and tons of it, right? And then it sits there and they're like, we got to do something with this. So they lease it. And then when they lease it, it becomes collateral for another trade and another trade and another trade. And so when central banks are buying this, we don't really know, first of all, if they're buying it, then we don't know what they're doing with it. So we have no idea. We have no idea. But what we do know is that for the last 40 years, any piece of silver sitting like this silver next to me for more than 10 seconds was immediately financialized. And that created this gigantic daisy chain effect. So you don't know if the central bank is buying it and then leasing it into the trading market, because this is a great time to do that if you think about it, because if you're going to have a scramble, it's like the first thing you do is you're like, look how much money we can make loaning the silver out. So I mean, who knows?
Right.
Who knows? Like it's so hard to store this stuff. I mean, you would have to, it's like harder to store than oil. I think oil is easier. I got this guy, Ernie, that was just emailing with me that I met at Bloomberg. I've been going to the Bloomberg office a bunch in Midtown, New
Uh-huh.
York. This guy is like, his entire business is tanks. So like if you wanted to store, so we went to listen to this talk that was all about how like the fundamentals don't really matter anymore with oil. It was by this mathematician, super fascinating. So it's talking about how we live this age of like blobs of money are just flying around, and like you basically like doesn't really matter what's happening in the physical market. But this guy Ernie stores oil. So if I need to store like, a million barrels of oil, Ernie would find places to store it. I think it's easier to store oil than silver. I mean, there is no Ernie for the silver market. Like, where do you put this stuff? You put it in
Right.
Singapore. Like, that's a long way away if you live in New York. I mean, it's one of these times where you're like, just look at the chart.
If you're a gold owner, you already know about all the ways precious metals can hedge yourself against financial instability. Monetary Metals is revolutionizing how people can invest in gold and silver. Right now, there's opportunities for you to earn 4% interest on your gold paid in gold in their marketplace. Now is the time to secure your wealth in an asset that the government can't inflate away. Join thousands of investors earning interest in physical gold and silver every single month with Monetary Metals. Grow your gold over time so that you're not just preserving, but growing your wealth in an asset that can't get inflated away by just printing more money. Visit the link in the description below to get started now.
The chart basically says you break 50, you go up, you come back for a little kiss on the cheek, and then you probably go somewhere else. And, you just say to yourself, like, central bank buying, I don't know, where are they even getting it?
Right.
I don't think it's there. I mean, it's like if you think about it, like the 2021 incident tells you a lot, right? I mean, it was like the banks were like, we actually have the silver, but we don't have
Well, yeah. Well, Saudi
it.
Arabia, they bought 100 million ounces of silver, but they bought SLV.
Exactly, because you can't buy the 100 million ounces. Where are you going to get the? I mean, where are you going to get it? I mean, do you even? So what is the annual production? Like 850 million ounces or something,
Yeah.
like right around. It's less than a billion, and so you're going to buy 15% of annual production. Like, forget about it. I mean, the only way you can do it is to buy derivative, exposure, which is essentially a cash settled contract. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, if the price is going to move and you can be in the derivative, if you've ever traded silver futures, you'll know that that's a high that you don't get from any drug. I mean, that's like that, just goes absolutely bonkers. And that's like a leverage trade. If you can do that, if you have the stomach for that. But I'll tell you what, you can't do that if you're ideological. You
Right. Right.
cannot do that. You will blow yourself up. I mean, believe me, you will lose your mind in that market because the swings are so insane that you
Wow.
won't know how to handle yourself because you've been living at mom's house, with your 100 ounces of silver, like, thinking that the world's going to end and you're going to come out the smartest person. But you're not the smartest person. There's
Yeah.
always going to be a smarter person. And so, you got to change your thinking. But like when you see these headlines coming out, it's good because you weren't seeing these headlines for 40 years.
Yeah.
So now we're seeing these headlines, and that's, I think we're going to see more of them.
Yeah, it's time to evolve our thinking, which is what a great message today for us, EV. Like I think we really got to dig down the whole silver community and really step up our thinking. And yeah, it's such a pleasure to have you on. But before you go, I really want people to connect with you. I'm going to put your links in the description below,
Yeah.
EV. Where can people follow your work?
ebtucker.com is the place to be. I only publish the Tucker letter. That's all I do. Now, all the time, people are sending me, there's like fake AI groups and Telegram groups. This is all spam. ebtucker.com, the Tucker letter. It's the only place I publish every 2 weeks. There's no sales banners, there's no advertising, there's no other static in the way of that relationship. And when you read Not for Sale, you'll know why. That is
Wow.
my place to talk to the world. And the reason you should read the Tucker letter is you can read it for free. and you get inside my head and you see what I'm thinking about things. And it's not always like some instantaneous thing to do to change your life. Sometimes it's things that I notice that I think are really important. And if you feed your mind with protein like that for years and years, you're going to come out ahead. And that's something that I do and I've done for, my entire career. And you can read that at ebtucker.com. It's the place to do it.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. Everyone watching this, highly recommend. Please go check out EB at his website, follow his newsletter. And EB, such a huge pleasure having you on. As everything develops, always a huge pleasure having you on here.
Hey, and let's send this stuff to the moon.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
do it.
All right.
Awesome. Talk to you
Okay.
soon, EB.
See you later.
Cheers.